Hello, fantabulous souls. I am Psychically Ann, and you are listening to Psychically Speaking. I am so thrilled to have you joining me today. I don't even remember at this point the last time I did a podcast. I vaguely remember coming back at some point in August. I was so excited. I had taken a little bit of downtime. It was really crazy busy in my world. And I was so excited to bring the podcast back. And then some of you know about my dental saga, but I ended up having a retreatment, it's called, for an infection in a root canal. And I was told it'll be 45 minutes and you will be back to work tomorrow. And 6 weeks later, I ended up with a horrible infection that left me with numbness in my face. I couldn't open my jaw, which meant I couldn't open my mouth, which meant I couldn't talk. It was a nightmare. And when all was said and done, I ended up having to have surgery to have the tooth removed. So I am doing so much better now. And I have to tell you, as someone who never shuts up, not being able to talk for weeks on end was just not very fun. So I am doing a lot better. Sadly, I have been told that the numbness in my face and the inability to open my jaw all the way may continue for another 3 to 4 months, but at least I can speak better now. So all is good. For those of you who would like to read the whole saga, you can check out the last blog, which was When Life Knocks You Off Course, My Journey Through Pain and Perspective. And if you are not a VIP who receives our newsletter, don't miss out going to the website and read the blog that was just posted this week, No Stress November, your guide to inner peace during challenging times, which leads me to the podcast topic for today. As I am recording this, it is 7:45 p.m. on November 4th, and tomorrow we have something called a presidential election happening. Now, no worries, folks. We are not going to be talking politics tonight because in this space, we are only focusing on positivity and uplifting thoughts. Because the fact of the matter is, no matter what happens, no matter what the end results are tomorrow, we are going to have half of the people celebrating and the other half not very happy. So there is just no way that 100% of the country is going to be happy and celebrating tomorrow. And that's something that I wanted to really kind of address today. I was teaching a class recently, and I was talking about something that I had been watching or listening to. And the person was talking about this great energy shift that we're having and how there's going to be this peace and unity and all of this, rah-rah stuff. And I was laughing to myself because I thought, now that I'm like 57 years old, if I had $1 for every time I heard about all these energy shifts and how the world is going to be one and everybody's going to, get along perfectly, I'd be a millionaire. And the truth of the matter is this: we are living on planet Earth. And I know people do not like to hear this, but on planet Earth, it is all about duality. It is about the positive and the negative. It is about the good and the bad. And there is never going to be a moment on this planet, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, where every single person is going to think, feel, and interpret things the same way. And the reason why I say this is not to be a negative Nelly, no offense to the Nellies out there, but I say it because I feel like one of the biggest problems that we are having in our world is we have become addicted to setting unrealistic expectations. So I have made a commitment to myself this year to be the voice of reason. Now, I'm just going to warn you, I may not always be the voice that you want to hear, but I promise you that I am going to be the voice of reason, right? Sometimes when people are selling us those rainbows and butterflies, I'm going to be the one telling you, listen, remember the rainbow comes after the storm, right? And again, it's not about being negative. It's about being realistic. It's about living in the real world. And it is not practical to even believe that someday everybody is going to think the same way. And quite frankly, I find that more frightening than the thought of, oh, everybody is never going to think the same. The thought of everybody thinking the same at some point, that's like mind-boggling to me, right? Because I think one of the things that makes us so amazing on this planet Earth is that we have all these different ideas and we have all these different belief systems, and yet we somehow all learn to just weave our lives on the same planet. And I think the biggest problem is not that we all are not thinking the same way. I think the problem is we have forgotten to respect each other's differences. We have become obsessed with paying attention to what everybody else is doing. And those of you who have been with me for a long time, you know how much I despise social media. And I am pretty sure I have said from day one it was going to be the thing that was going to single-handedly destroy the human race, because I think that social media, those quick flashes of people's lives, everybody is trying to live up to the people that they see there, right? So, somebody cooks this amazing dinner and people are like, God, I'm such a horrible person because I don't, cook my husband or my wife or my significant other dinners like that. Or, there's always those pictures of the moms dressed like they fell out of a magazine and their kids are perfect. And then you have the moms that are like, they haven't taken a shower in 4 days and they're all stressed out going, what is wrong with me? Why can't I be a good mom like that person on social media? And we forget that those are simply little snapshots in time, right? And I want you to really take a step back and ask yourself, especially when you're in those moments of beating yourself up. If a camera was following you around 24/7, how many good snapshots would you get in a day? Because I guarantee you could get really great 10-second snapshots as well, right? But we look at these quick little flashes of people's lives and we immediately go to, what am I doing wrong? So in the eve before the chaos will unfold, because it's inevitable for what I just said earlier, 50% of the people, maybe more, maybe less, are not going to like the outcome of what happens tomorrow. It's not good or bad. It's just a fact. Okay. 2 teams. Recently, I was at my nephew's soccer game and one team won and one team lost, right? That's just a fact. One team went home super happy and the other team went home sad and annoyed with themselves, right? And that's just a fact, right? They both played really great and everybody did well and everybody had equal value, but it's just, that was the game, right? There was a winner and a loser. There were happy people, there were sad people. And, that's where we have to kind of take a step back and go, that is the way that things unfold. And we don't have to allow, just like, with the kids that lost, right? When they were walking off the field, they had wonderful parents who were telling them what a great game they played and how well they did and, lifting their spirits. And I'm watching this thinking, if we could all just remember to do this in our everyday lives, right? There's no such thing as perfect. We're not going to win every time in everything that we do. We're not going to be happy with every outcome in every situation. But what you have to do is you have to take a step back and say, okay, I'm not happy with this. What can I do in my own little universe? And you know what's really interesting? I find, and I'm the first one who's guilty of this, PS, by the way. That's why I've learned how to kind of shift this. But it's so funny because a lot of times when you talk to people about things that are going on outside of their little inner circle, right? So when I say that, I mean outside of the things that we are actually in control of. When you talk to them and they're all, upset or angry, or this thing is going on and I can't believe it and I can't take it. After I just kind of hear them out, I say, so let me just ask you, how is that directly impacting your day-to-day life? And they'll look at you and they'll say, it's not. And then they go, oh, right? Because sometimes we get so crazy about the things that are going on, right? My husband always yells at me, I'll go, did you see this? Or did you hear that? And he'll go, not my monkey, not my circus. No offense to the monkeys and no offense to the people who may be working at circus, okay? But he always says that, not my monkey, not my circus, right? So he's always reining me in. Like, what are you worried about that? Is it impacting your day-to-day? No, it's not. Well, then why are you focusing on it? So 2 things that I really want to leave you with on the eve of the big changes that are about to be happening is, 1, I want you to remember that the thing that makes us so amazing is all of our different opinions, our experiences, and our belief systems, right? And I want you to remember, moving forward this week, every time you hear something or someone shares something, I want you to take a step back and I want you to ask yourself, how is that directly impacting my personal space? Okay? And just by focusing on those 2 things, you are going to keep yourself out of the stress zone this week. All right? And we're going to be talking about a lot more moving forward. But just for today, I wanted to talk about that. And just remember, I always, whenever somebody talks about, and I've said this a gazillion times, but whenever somebody talks to me about politics, or people love to talk to me about religion, because being a psychic, they somehow think I do not have any religious background. So whenever people talk to me about politics or religion, I always say the same exact thing to them. I always say my parents raised me to respect everybody's right to have their own opinion. And while I may not agree with everybody's belief system, and while I may not agree with everybody's opinion, I absolutely respect each and every person's right to have their opinion, to have their belief system. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I am so excited to be back. I look forward to lots of exchanges with you. And if you have an idea for a topic for a podcast, feel free to send me an email at contact@spiritquestnc.com. and go make it a great day. Thanks for listening.